Okay, let's go. So we're going to look at this question, example 13, page 70. So in a senior class, all 29 students take one or more of biology, chemistry and physics. The headmaster is informed that 15 take biology, 15 take chemistry, 18 take physics. 10 take biology and chemistry, 5 take chemistry and physics, and 7 take biology and physics. How many students take all three subjects? Okay, so there's a lot of information there, and we're going to use our Venn diagram to help break that down and structure it and sort it so that we can answer the question. So what is actually, there's one very important piece of information there that people overlook to start with.
You're supposed to find the middle of x.
I haven't even got that far actually yet, but what was the important, if you read the first line, there's a bit of an important information, which is
29.
that there are 29. So I should be writing in U, there are 29 students. So I should make that note, because if when I add everything up it comes to more than 29, I've done something wrong. So that's a nice check. And it also says all 29 students take one or more of biology, blah. So that means that there is no one that outside. So we can have a 0 out here. So we've dealt with that region, because a lot of people forget to deal with that region. Okay, so there must be a 0. Now we've got 3 subjects. So biology, chemistry, physics. So each of our regions represent people that only take biology, people that take biology and physics but not chemistry, and so on. So we've got to put numbers in. All right. Now, I'm not going to do it because they've obviously got straight to the end point here, but we're going to work it out from the information from the question first. So it says the headmaster is informed that 15 take biology. Now here's my tip, is to put biology equals 15. Now that means in the circle of biology there must be 15. So with all 4 regions of that circle it should add up to no more than 15. Alright? That's important. In the same way, 15 take chemistry and 18 take physics. So now it says 10 take biology and chemistry. So biology and chemistry is this whole region here. So I'm going to put a 10, okay, in that region at the moment, but I need to be careful because that 10 also includes the middle bit. So this is where we have to start by putting, well, that's what I don't know. So that 10, actually this region has to be 10, subtract whatever that x is. Because those two have to add up to 10. 5 take chemistry and physics. So this must be 5 but subtract x. Then 7 take biology and physics. So it must be 7 minus x. Right. Right. Now I can work out a bit more because this region must be 15 but subtract 10 minus x, but also subtract x and subtract 5 minus x. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I know they haven't got that written in the circle, they've got it written underneath, but I'm going to write it. So this region would be, again, 15 minus 10 minus... Why am I using brackets, by the way?
Otherwise
Okay,
the negatives would just get on.
Exactly. Because it's subtract a negative x, I've got to have it in brackets. And and then subtract 7 minus x again. And this one would be 18 subtract 7 minus x, subtract x, subtract 5 minus x. And then really, we're going to want to simplify all that. So I'm going to work in this region. So I've got 15 subtract 10 minus x minus 7 minus x. So I've got 15 subtract 10, subtract 7, add x, subtract x, add x. Everyone happy with that? So that would be what? Or x minus 2. And same with the other one. So 15 minus 10 minus x minus 5 minus gives me 15 subtract 10 plus x minus x minus 5 plus x. So that would be just x minus 2, I've got x. And finally, 8 minus 18 minus 7 minus 5 plus x minus 6. So I've got my 3. What do I do now? Do you think? Yeah, go on.
Do we add all the numbers like in the brackets or from the Venn diagrams and like a big equation and then bracket equals to 20?
Yeah, so what have we got actually, if I write in a different colour so we can see. So we've got x minus 2 here, we've got x here, and we've got x plus 6 here. Now what I have to do is take now everything I've got, so this one, this one, this one, all of these regions need to add up to what? 29. So I've got to do x minus 2, and there's no need for brackets now because it's adding. So x minus 2, I'm going to cross it so I don't overdo things. 10 minus x plus x plus x plus 7 minus x 5 minus x plus x plus 6. And also, here's the thing, because if that wasn't a 0, you'd have to remember that. If you didn't remember it, you'd get something wrong at the end. And all of this has to equal that number at the top, 29. And there's nothing outside. So it has to equal 29. So we simplify. So x minus an x, so there's nothing. Got 2x minus another 2x, so there's nothing. Okay, so then I'm left with just an x, which is nice. Minus 2 plus 10 is 8. Plus 7 is 15, plus 5 is 20, plus 6 is 26. So x plus 26 equals 29, and therefore x equals 3. So we can say, once we've got that, we can then put it back into all the other regions. So in this case, it only says how many study all 3, but we can actually answer all the other questions now. Okay. So once I've got here, so how many study, for instance, chemistry and physics, but not biology? 2. How many study only physics? 9. Now, if I said to you, this is part of our objective as well. Right, so here you go. If I said to you, right, I'm going to pick someone at random from this school. What is the probability that I get someone that studies only one subject out of those 3 subjects? So what would the denominator be? 29. How would I work out the numerator? So only one subject. So you know that it's going to be this region, and that region only. So the answer would be, so x plus 6 is 9, 3, and 1. So it would be 13. 13 out of 29 would be the probability of getting someone with only one subject.
We can't exclude use only like the region of biology and like do all the chemistry or physics and all these.
That's a good question, actually. What if you've gone through all that process and you try and solve for x, but only using 15 instead of the 29? Why don't you have a go? Does it work? It's actually worthwhile, because if you try in an exam, you go, oh, I'm a bit tight for time, let me try something new. Do you all understand what the question you asked was?
Yeah.
Why do I need to use all of them, okay, when I could just say, what would we say? So just 10 minus x plus 5 minus x plus x would equal 15. So I've got minus x plus x minus x plus x makes 0. I've got 10 plus 5. Great. So I've stated that 15 does in fact equal 15. Where have you met that kind of situation before, where you might get that answer? When you do, yeah, when you put the same equation into the one you've rearranged, when you do that substitution method. So if you try and only use one of them, you can't. It doesn't give you the information. It doesn't lie. There's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't give you the information you need. So you have to use all the information. But it's a good question. It's a good question. All right. So probability statements. If I said to you, what is the probability of at least one subject being studied? You would say, yeah, 100%, 1, 29 out of 29, whatever you want to say. Okay. If I said, what was the probability of at least 2 subjects being studied, what would you tell me? Yeah.
16 out of.
And how did you do that?
I added like in between circles, I added numbers like the yellow ones.
So here, 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 and here, yeah?
Yeah.
You added those. That is a fine way to do it. There is another way to do it, which is Ivan?
One subject.
Exactly. If at least two, the only one that's not at least two is only one. Okay, so that was the other method to do it. Right, so 1 minus 13 out of 29. Right. Just remember, then it's also got things like what is the probability of exactly one subject is only the same thing as only, or if I said exactly two subjects. Okay, what's the probability of exactly two subjects being studied? So we've got here 4, 2, and 7. Okay, 4, 2, and 7, which makes 13. So again, 13 out of 29. And if I said, so final type of question that I want to go through with you is knowing that a student studies physics, okay, what is the probability that they also study chemistry? So you know that a student studies physics. What is the probability that they also study chemistry? Christian?
4 over 29.
Sorry. Chin?
5 over 18.
So why is it over 18?
Because 18 students who takes physics.
So by saying knowing that they study physics, it's now out of 18. And the ones that also study chemistry is this 3 and 2. So yes, you're right. It's 5 out of the 18. Okay. Everyone happy with that? That's good. So you're now looking at exercise 2F. There's a lot there. So what we'll do is I'm going to send you straight on to, let's say, question 13. Right?